All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to demystify two of the most fundamental and honestly most confused concepts in aspect-oriented programming, the joint point versus the point cut.
You know the feeling, right? You're working hard to keep your core business logic clean and simple. But then you have to add logging and security checks and caching, and suddenly that beautiful code is cluttered with all this repetitive boilerplate. It's a real headache.
Well, this universal challenge we all face in software actually has a formal name, and understanding it is the first step to finding a much, much better way to handle it. It's called a cross-cutting concern, and really, it's the perfect name for it. Think of it as any piece of functionality that literally cuts across the normal layers and boundaries of your application. Things like logging, security, or managing transactions, they're all crucial, but they don't really belong to any one specific part of your business logic. Now, when you don't find a good way to manage these concerns, things get messy fast. First, your core business methods get bloated with all this secondary logic. And second, that logic gets scattered all over your code base, making it an absolute nightmare to update or maintain down the line. So the big question is, how do we pull all of that extra stuff out? How can we manage it all in one central place without tangling up our main code?
The answer is a really elegant programming paradigm that was designed specifically for this problem, aspect-oriented programming, or AOP for short.
AOP is a companion to object-oriented programming. Its entire job is to let us package up these cross-cutting concerns into their own clean, reusable modules. This lets us to find the what and where of our extra logic without ever having to touch the original business code. It's pretty cool. So, to see how AOP pulls this off, we really need to get comfortable with 4 key terms. These are the absolute building blocks of the whole concept. First up is the aspect. You can just think of this as the container. It's the module that holds all the logic for a single cross-cutting concern. So you might have a logging aspect or a security aspect, and so on. Now, inside an aspect, you have something called advice. This is the actual code that's going to run. It's the action you want to take, like log an entry, and when you want to take it, like before a method runs. And this brings us right to the heart of it all. How does our advice know exactly where in our massive codebase it's supposed to run? The answer lies in the relationship between our last two and most important concepts. To make this really click, let's use an analogy. Imagine your entire application is a stage play. The aspect we just defined, let's say it's our lighting aspect, is the lighting director. And their advice is the action they want to perform, turn on a spotlight. A join point is any possible opportunity where that lighting director could turn on the spotlight. It's every single potential moment in the play. An actor walking on stage, them delivering a line, or even when they forget a line and an exception is thrown. All of these are potential points for action. They are all opportunities. And here is a critical real-world detail. While a join point could theoretically be lots of things, in mainstream frameworks like Spring AOP, it almost exclusively means one thing, the execution of a method. That's the main opportunity you'll be working with. Okay, so if a join point is every possible moment, a point cut is the specific rule that tells the lighting director exactly which moment to act on. It's the cue. It doesn't just say act on any line. It says turn on the spotlight only when the lead actor speaks their monologue. The point cut selects the join points. So let's put these two concepts side by side to make this distinction crystal clear, because really understanding this relationship is the key to unlocking AOP. So here's the breakdown. A join point is the opportunity, a single moment, like a method call. A point cut is the rule. It's an expression that matches one or even many of those opportunities. The simplest way to think about it is this. The point cut is your query, and the join points are the results of that query. We've gone through the mechanics, but let's talk about the real payoff. Why is it so valuable for you as a developer to master this distinction? The payoff is immense. By using aspects and advice with these precise point cuts, you can surgically extract those cross-cutting concerns right out of your business logic. And the result? Your code becomes clean, focused, and way easier to read and maintain. It directly solves that code clutter problem we talked about at the very beginning. You know, if you take away only one thing from this explainer, let it be this simple idea right here. A join point is an opportunity. A point cut is the rule or the predicate that tells your code which of those opportunities to actually act on. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought, doesn't it? AOP lets you fundamentally change your application's behavior without ever modifying its source code. Just think about the power in that. What kinds of possibilities does that unlock for building more dynamic and adaptable software in the future?